Yeah, better to have Jack and Coke than Jack and Cock.
G'day, this is the Two Beards Wrexham podcast, your go-to for all things Wrexham AFC. Join us as we chat about the highs and lows of our favourite footy club. She'll be right, mate. G'day, Beard Brethren, Sheilas, fuckheads, and just all-round
Nailed
legends.
it.
Welcome to the season-ending podcast for the Two Beards Wrexham podcast. I'm your host, Rousey. That bold-looking, sexy motherfucker over there is Adrian, giving us the dabs.
That's
Mate,
it.
how are you feeling? It's season over for the 23-24 season. One season in League Two. We dabbled in it. We dipped our nuts in it. And now we're pulling out.
No, honestly, we're just like, the dad who went out for a bit of milk, and League Two was like, the kid who's like, I'm waiting for you to come back, and then the milk is, League One, and we just never come back. So yeah, anyways, fuck League Two.
Fuck League Two. We are out of there. Out of there. But my gosh, what a season. What a season it's been. I mean, we've had an absolutely massive year ourselves. The boys, Wrexham, the women have all had big years. So I'm just going to drink up to our Wrexham men and women who did us proud this year, and our men who got promotion to League One, back where we should be. So here's to you guys.
That's it. That's it. Nah, fucking nailed it, bro. I think we're in a very, very good position. And I think it is just, I can't believe we're here. Like, I remember Christmas being like, oh God, it's going to be such a slog to get to the end of the season. And now we're here. I just blinked and all of a sudden we're promoted, and we're in the final episode of our season as well.
Yes. So guys, we are actually going to take a 2-week break from recording. We need it. It's been a long season.
Long year.
And we started this at the end of our National League season. We started this podcast, I believe.
Yeah.
And now we're coming into the end of this season. So we think it's time that we can take a little bit of a break, 2 weeks, but only 2 weeks. And we will be back. We'll be back with Two Beards reviews episodes of Welcome to Wrexham Season 3. And obviously the podcast, which you all come to listen to, let's be honest. So but we've got a really, really good episode ahead planned ahead for what's coming up. So just like every other podcast out there, we're doing our end of season awards with a bit of a twist. But we'll get into that in the next two segments. So we've got a bit to talk about first. We want to talk about the Stockport game. But first we got some housekeeping to get out of the way. Guys, we have a fan loyalty program, which we love to call the Fuckheads. It is on Patreon. The base membership is $5 a month. That $5 a month gets you early ad-free access to our podcast. That's the major one. So if you don't want ads or you don't like seeing ads, cost you $5 a month minimum, and you get early access to the podcast. You also get 10% off our brand new merch store, which is super sexy. I can't wait to get some of that merch. You get access to our fans only Discord, giveaways in the Discord, and shout outs every week. twobeardsmedia.com. Links will also be in a link tree down below if you're interested and you want to join up and have access 100%. To our fans only Discord, which is worth it. Trust me, it is worth
100%.
It.
He's nailed it. And I think the cool thing is with Patreon, we're allowed to make tiers. So we've even allowed for even more access. So for example, we have a $10 tier, which allows you to be an executive producer of the show, that you will be in the credits. You'll also get your name shouted out first in just a moment. So you get that as well as just, that almost that little bit of premium. And then we go to the ultra fuckhead, the $20 tier, which you get all of that executive producer credit, as well as every rolling 6 months, you get a free piece of merch from the new Two Beards Wrexham podcast store. And that is from twobeardsmedia.com. That is twobeardsmedia.com/shop. And honestly, that's probably in itself will pay off whatever you've paid. Do you know what I mean? Like you've paid off the $20. You do that every 6 months. By the time you do that, you pick whatever you want merch free of charge you get, as well as you get a FaceTime call, which is it's going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to make it like a League One themed. So if you do a FaceTime call, we might do it, at halftime, might do it during the game, whatever you want. You pay the money, you call the shots. We will be there. But yes, those are our tiers. And I'm going to yell out some names. So our executive producers, to Dan, Anthony, Jake, and Sarah, thank you. You are amazing people, and we really appreciate you being our executive producers and helping this show keep afloat. And not to mention our fuckheads in general, Aaron, Andy, Will, Chris, John, Anthony, and Deandra. Now, we mentioned last week the newbies that we've had on, and also we've got a Mark, who you might remember from an episode 2 weeks ago. Mark from WA, our mate. He is part of the fuckheads. We appreciate you, brother. Welcome aboard.
That's right. And just to clarify, Deandra, I'm sorry. We thought you were from the UK because of how it came across, but apparently you're from Aruba, which is
Aruba,
absolutely mental.
Ooh, I want to take
welcome.
it to them. Sorry, that's going to be my head every time.
So welcome, guys. And we hope more of you sign up. Link, like I said, it's in the link tree down below. And you get all that good stuff from us and plenty more to come. So, guys, after this, we're going to be talking about the Stockport game and having a bit of fun with it. And we've got some interesting takes on that. So be sure to hang around. And then after that, we will get into our end of season Two Beards Awards, which has a bit of Two Beards flair to it, you could say, which will be interesting. So by all means, hang around. And we will see you guys after this ad break. Roll it. So the 23-24 season has closed itself out in absolute Wrexham fashion by kicking the ass of the fucking Stockport motherfuckers. I tell you what, that I can't help but feel like they're really trying to cement a rivalry here with the amount of shit that they were putting out. But we'll get into that. But the game overall was fantastic. It was so good to come out with a win. I think, Adrian, you predicted 2-1, so you actually got the prediction correct for a second week in a row. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. We had, obviously, it was I don't know. I think it was an interesting game. Like, we clearly played our brand and just stomped him. Just stomped him.
It felt like that. Like, it was one of those games where I did predict 2-1, but it is very much what you said in last week's ep, where it is just the easy call to do because it's such a common scoreline. But it is exactly how I thought it would go, in the sense that the champions were going to come out and they were going to come out firing. They want to finish off the season in style. They are kind of obsessed with us. But look, can I just make a quick shout out in the comments section of last week's episode? Stockport fan who obviously listened to the podcast said some very kind words, like, had a bit of banter in the chat, but also was saying, good luck to you guys next year. And I want to say to the Stockport fans that are the genuine ones, not trying to force a rivalry, who understand we're all on the same level in the sense that we're both two teams putting in the money and working our asses off to get into the leagues, because Stockport are investing just as much money, if not more, from if you take from their earnings or whatever. That was very classy, and that was before the game.
That was
classy. So good on that bloke. I feel bad I don't remember his name, but if you are for whatever reason listening to this ep, any derogatory comments we make about Stockport is not towards you, my friend,
Oh,
or
no.
the genuine fans who are not trying to force a fucking rivalry. Because I'm sick of this thing that they're just like ramming it down our throats, bro. Like everyone's like, oh, but that's the point. You're getting upset about it. It's like we're not upset. We're just like, I actually preferred the Accrington Stanleys where they just hate us and they just hate us. That's okay. And then they just hate us. That's it. Even Andy Holt, he even has a limit. You know, he stops tweeting. These guys don't stop.
I know they just kept going and going and going, and I was just. But anyway, we had goals from Ollie Palmer and Andy Cannon on the weekend. I mean, I tell you what, even that first goal from Ollie Palmer, man. I mean, the dude just never ceases to amaze me, and I hope he stays on and Parky keeps that attack line going because Palmer Mullen just works.
It works. That's the way to word it. It works. But like we went into a halftime break at like what was it? 1-0 from a goal from Connor Lemonhay Evans, or what did Mark Griffiths call him?
Lemon Welsh Evans.
Yeah. But like Ollie coming out, out of the gates, we needed something. What else happens? Big Ollie does it. And the assist from our mate O'Connell, like he's come out and given him an assist. And I'm like, you know what? It was quite funny because to me, it's like, these are the two big boys and they're probably the two tallest men other than maybe a Conquo on the park. And they're making a play and they were hard running. And I was really proud of Palmer for his goal. I know we're going to get into my mate and probably somehow related to him because of his gingerness, but when we get into Andy Cannon's. But before we do, even just Mullen with the way he worked, I know he didn't score and I'm pretty sure he was quite deflated by, I don't know if you saw his body language a lot of the time. He was like whacking himself on the sides of his body every time he just missed it by an inch. He was very critical of himself, but honestly, man.
And rightfully so, because had he had scored just once, he would have been the only player in history to score 25 goals in 4 consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
Now that is no small feat.
It did make me, I mean, I think once we were down 1-0, I forgot about his golden boot, even though I've been harping on about it for fucking weeks. The minute we were down, I was like, right, don't care, just someone fucking do it. And when Palmer came out and did it, he just did some amazing things. But look, I was really proud of that. Palmer actually had some attempts which probably he should have nailed before that in the first half. There were a couple of opportunities where, there was one sitter specifically where he just skied it. And it's like, oh shit, it's going to be one of those days where we have more shots than them, but we don't capitalize. But alas, we were good. Then we get on to the subs before we get to Andy Cannon. So we had Stephen Fletcher come on from Ollie Palmer at the 69th minute. You know what? For Scottish Viking Jesus, it just had to happen. Then you had Jordan Davis come on for Elliot Lee, Luke Bolton come on for Barnett, and Marriott come on for Mullen. Now, this is exactly what you said, Rousey. Do not change that lineup in terms of that front fucking area. Having a Marriott to come on as a sub, a Fletcher to come on as a sub. If we had no Ollie and no Mullen, we would obviously be lacking, but we would have very close to equal replacements in in Fletcher and Marriott. Isn't that crazy?
I think we're yet to see the best out of Marriott, though.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got the potential, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is we have to compare it to the start of the season where we had the option was Dolby, and that's it.
Yeah,
that was it, and it was like, well, fuck, what do we do now? Well, now we have a Marriott who can make that be the sub, be the person we need to. He can kick goals. We've seen him finally kick them, but now we get on to the man. The Lion King himself. I fucking love him so much. He's easily become one of my favorite players. Andy Cannon. His love for this club is just bloomed like anything does, right? Like in terms of like when you're a part of something quite special like this, you see it with McLean, you see it with Fletcher, you see these people who adopt it. But when it's a younger player adopting it, like a Cannon, fuck, doesn't that get
Yeah.
you excited? Because he's
Oh, it
climbing the
does.
leagues with us, man.
It
Because there will
does.
be a time where we don't have the McLeans, we don't have the Fletchers, we don't have these players who are older. Unfortunately, there's going to come a time where we have to say goodbye. I really hope we have Cannon all the way to that Premier League, man.
You know what? It could possibly happen, but I think, I mean, there is not a single player that is on that team, whether they're in the starting 11, whether they're on the bench, or whether they're waiting in the wings for their chance. There is not a single player on that team that does not want to be there, that does not want to play for the club, or there's no big timers in that group. And this is why I love Wrexham so much. And this is why they're so successful, because they are a genuine team. And to see people coming in, taking up their position, and then doing well, aka Max Clearworth,
Oh,
it
I love you,
really
Maxi.
warms the heart, and it gets the juices flowing, you know. And I think it's a great thing to witness, and it makes it all the more harder to know that some of these people, we've seen them play their last game in the badge, you know.
Mm.
Um,
Well, it's funny you bring that up because there was definitely a farewell for Luke Young on the weekend.
it felt like
Um,
it, didn't it?
it felt like it. You just see the way that Rob McElhenney hugged him. You could just see there was a bit of sadness in the way that Rob was acting around him. His family getting on the pitch, waving almost to the fans. And I know he's the captain; he has to kind of do that. It just felt like a farewell, and especially after the game, he was taking photos with fans. And again, I know that's who he is as a person. He'd do it if it was his first game as well. He's just that kind of bloke, but. It did feel like a bit of a farewell. I hope not. I really do, because I know that people, are quite critical of him because he can make mistakes and he's not up to par in terms of League One. But his leadership is second to none. And even if you have him in the room somehow, I know he'll want to play on. I know he won't want to get into a coaching role straight away. He will probably go to another League Two club. He'd probably fit in really well with Notts. We talked about it in the summer in the our summer, you're with the transfer Christmas transfer window. It felt like he should be moving on. I hope not, but that felt like it. Who else did you see might have played their last game?
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be too hard to think what Parky's going to do, because whatever you think he's going to do, something else just comes out that just completely surprises you.
Yep.
Now, I know we didn't see Tozer play, but I think he's done.
The way that his kids were playing on the pitch after the game, like they were kicking it around, it's almost like soak it in because this is the last time you're going to get to do this. And that also felt pretty ominous.
Yeah.
Look, the Okonkwo story's still developing. It's got twists and turns. McLean's almost, I'm certain now he's definitely signing on, mainly because in his last Instagram post, he basically said, along the lines of, we'll work even harder next year, kind of thing. Like we'll go even harder next season. Sorry. And I'm like, okay, you don't kind of say that if you're not part of the picture. So
Yeah.
I think he's kind of made his mind up. It's, whether how much he gets. Fletcher, another one that we don't know. I hope he's fit as a fiddle. Like he's in his, yes, he's not got the stamina, but he's got the impact moments, and maybe that's just what we need until we can, find replacements for them.
Yeah. You
If
never
we go to
know.
a
You
championship.
never know. I mean, it's one of those things. But back on the task of the Stockport game.
Mm,
So the game started off with a plane flyover, and this was close to earning numpty for me, because they paid for a
surprised it's not.
plane to fly over saying champions again, ole ole. And then on top of that, there was a flag
Yeah.
in the stand with
Yeah.
the owners on it saying the real champions, and they had the owners in a Stockport shirt. And then there's like, you just like, guys, just fucking let it go.
Yeah.
Like, we do not care that you guys won the league. We don't.
And
There's
I
no
think the biggest
rivalry there. We've got
no,
our rivals. We've got Shrewsbury. We have Chester. Those are our rivalries, and obviously you've got your North-South derby, which we had against Newport. But there's no rivalry with Stockport. There's nothing of substance there, and they just kept on bringing it. And look, it was good, and the banter was good, and I'll give it that. But fuck me dead, seriously. Like,
it got
paying
to a
for
point of
player?
embarrassment. If I'm a Stockport fan and a true Stockport fan, I would be looking at like there was no title race. Because here's the thing. Anyone who says that Wrexham was in the title race for the first spot, not for promotion, for first spot, you're fucking lying. Because we were, first half of the season, not even in the fucking equation for playoffs. And then we were praying for third. We were fucking praying for third. And then we got it. And then we were fighting for second. And of course, there's us talking about it, but we're pundits, we're people who commentate on the things. Of course, we're going to try and get a bit excited that it's mathematically possible to be title people. Do you think that any media person thought that? No. So why is Stockport singing songs about, we beat them to it, we did it, we beat them to the title race? I thought your title race was with Mansfield, bro. Like, I thought it was with Mansfield for most of the season because we only came into the equation in the last 3 weeks.
I know. Like literally only just came to, and look, whilst there was a mathematical chance, it was still a far possibility. And I'll be the first to fall on my sword. I said we would go back to back as champions. But alas, it was never going to be. But we got the promotion in the first season. It took them too.
Bro, honestly, that's all we wanted. And I think, Stockport, I mean, they had an open, I will go into it, I'm sure, a little later, but they had an open bus, a top bus for Stockport. And they were singing about the title, like the players and the manager. And I'm just like, fair enough if the fans are getting in on the banter because they're fans. You're allowed to do that. You're a player singing about a club that's just gone up with you.
Yeah. Who you're now going to have to face next year.
Again.
And how embarrassed are you going to be if Wrexham finish above you in the league next year?
But I mean, even if we don't, who cares? Because there's no rivalry. I want them to succeed. They're a great story. I would hope that they would feel similar, but they don't because they think, you've got owners who are throwing money. It's like, but also we spent the same amount of money in the transfer window. So
didn't they spend more?
Yeah, slightly. It's not confirmed though, so I don't want to be like that guy and then some Stockport fan.
I mean, I could be, looking at this through Jack Daniels tinted glasses, but I think that was a prelude for what's going to happen next season. That was 2 League One sides going at each other. Now, the last League One side we faced was Shrewsbury, and we beat them 1-0. And then this one you could say was also a League One side, but look, both teams are going to make changes. But it was essentially 2 League One standard sides going at each other, and lo and behold, we got one back on them.
Yeah,
we didn't get them. I would say we didn't get them completely back for the 5-0 thumping that they gave us, but I think that 5-0 thumping was a massive wake up call for Wrexham.
Bro, if we didn't lose 5-0, we probably don't get promotion. So thank you, Stockport. I hated that game. It was one of the worst games as a Wrexham fan for me, being someone who's obviously part of the newer contingent. Fuck, it hurt. But I remember, now I look back at it and I go, fuck, the changes we made. We got a Conquo in. We got fucking the defense just got stripped and just put in the blood, the youth, Clareworth coming in, people who, are playing, and then in the transfer window, we went, we'll take that and we'll take that. And we all because of that. So look, I'm not saying it's a sole reason we went there. We obviously have Parky, and in Parky we trust, but also a big, big reason is Stockport made us rethink, okay, you guys are the team to beat. You guys are the team. Sorry. But yes, the title race ended up being Stockport Mansfield. But that wake-up call of that one game surely was a kick up the arse. So I agree, dude, completely. But Look, I loved it. I loved the end of the game as well. It was a little bit tamer, obviously, than the last home game where everyone invaded the pitch. I do want to do my little last stats for the year, if that's all right with you.
Go ahead, bring out the numbers.
Bring them out.
As long as
So-
one of them is 69.
So possession was Stockport's favor, 55% to 45%. Total shots was actually Stockport 10, Wrexham 9, but shots on target was Wrexham 4, Stockport 1. So the only one they had on target was their goal. So I've got to commend our defense in the sense that we did not let them do it. There was a couple of occasions where people made mistakes up back. O'Connor saved us a couple of times, as well as made a couple of mistakes himself, which kind of made me a bit worried. But these are the people who, they pick up after each other. Someone drops a deuce, the other one's there to pooper scooper it, like they were there. But at the end of it all, my biggest one here is this is so good.
Elliot Lee shut out a few in that game.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Look, it wasn't his finest day, but, everyone's allowed that. This was the one for me, which was Jules 1 was 68 to Stockport, 57.
Oh, you could have just said 60.
I know. I wanted to round it
Come
up
on,
for you.
dude. Fuck.
But that was the big one, because usually when Jules are won, now for those of us who don't know what that means, Jules are simply one-on-ones. The duel is won when either you are the defender and you've dispossessed them and taken it off them, or vice versa, you're the person who's got the ball and you were able to maintain it through that duel. That is the premise of it. Stockport had quite a number more than us, but it didn't matter. And I know it was a close scoreline and it was only really pipped at the post at the end for Cannon to score. But that's a big one for me where I go, you know what? That team, let's say from match day 1, gets spifflicated by Stockport with that kind of duels. Like that would be half the amount for us. We would be dispossessed. We would be a shambles and a shell of what we are now. It is a really fitting end to the season and a real good end to the chapter of League Two. We move on.
We picked
League
out
One.
second place as well, which was
Take it.
I will take that any day of the week. Second place. We were never going to catch Stockport. There was never that rivalry there. So just guys, let it go. Fucking hell, we're going to kill you next year anyway. Once we see how much money they lost this season doing that,
be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. But look, we'll move on from the Stockport stuff. Just really, really touch very quickly on. So obviously going up, first place Stockport, second place Wrexham, third place Mansfield. But then we have the playoffs to come, the juicy playoffs. Now, in the playoffs, in fourth place, MK Dons, fifth place, Doncaster, sixth place, Crew, and 7 with a late inclusion into the playoffs is Crawley Town, knocking Barrow out on the weekend.
Barrow were very unlucky because they were a top contender all year for autos.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're not even in playoffs. So commiserations to Barrow. They were one of my favorite sides in League Two that we came up against. Especially that first game I talk about, that draw a lot. It was 1-1, but it was one of the games where I went, oh shit, we need to adjust because they kind of exposed us. Crawley, good on them. Fuck Crew. Fuck MK Dons. You know what? I just want Doncaster, I think. What do you think?
You know what? I was going to say exactly the same damn fucking thing. I honestly have got a feeling Doncaster are going to be coming up with us.
They're in form, bro. They're in form.
They are hitting straps at the right time. Now, I know they drew on the weekend, but in the last 5, they've won 4 and drawn 1. Now, they were playing on the weekend. Who were they playing? They're playing Gillingham. And they went a player down and they were able to still draw.
Can you believe Gillingham finished 12th?
Hmm?
Can you believe Gillingham finished 12th?
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
I had them in my top 3. I was like, it's going to be Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham or Gillingham. And
that's right. Yeah. So we've got the first leg of the aggregate, which will be Crew versus Doncaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously they have to do the return leg at Doncaster. So it'll be Doncaster versus Crew. aggregate set up, so the overall score between the two games decides who goes up. Now, that said, Crew haven't been so good at home, and Doncaster have. So Crew's gonna get fucking worked in this, especially with their injuries as well. So I like Doncaster to go through. I don't know how MK Dons and Crawley are going to go. MK Dons are suffering a little bit at the moment, but I think they might go through, and it will be MK Dons versus Doncaster playoff for the promotion spot.
It's literally like the Star Wars, mate. It's like fucking light versus dark side. MK Dons being the dark side. I fucking can't stand them. I just can't.
So I'm going to say this. I'm going to put this out there right now. I'm going to be a Doncaster fan in this playoffs.
Yeah, me too.
I do not want Plastic FC to fucking get through. They can stay down another year. Thank you very much.
Yep, and I hope they do, so that Wimbledon, the true Wimbledon, can take them down again and bring them down a peg, because I can't stand them. But look, Donny were also really good away. Like, they performed like well against us. And I think that Donny is one of those clubs where I go, I didn't mind playing you. You know, like I didn't mind I liked the support of your fans. You know what? The same can be said about Stockport and of Mansfield as well. Like, I liked the fans that are there. So I would love it if another a club with a set of fans that I don't know, I don't hate, like, that I actually enjoy coming up against. Even just from a TV perspective, you know, we haven't been, unfortunately. One day, you know, we're hoping, but it's just not on the cards right now. And it's still about, you know, the banter on the internet, because unfortunately that's what we see. We see the first thing we're watching the game, we're scrolling and seeing the visceral coming from other teams' fans. But, you know, love to see Donny there.
Yep. So there you had it. Our Two Beards prediction for who goes up in the playoffs. And we're both of flat out agreement, which is surprising.
Doncaster. Yeah, it won't happen in the season awards. Don't you worry.
Oh, speaking of season awards, let's actually get onto it. So we've had our say. We've you know, analyzed Stockport. It's now game over, and we move on towards a mad pre-season break. Right. So, guys, hang around after the ad breaks. This is going to get very interesting. We'll explain how things are going to work after this. And by all means, we'll see you guys after this next ad break. Let's go.
Woo! Woo!
Alrighty then, here we fucking go.
Yep.
Two Beards end of season awards. Just because every other podcast is doing this fucking thing, we figured, you know what? Can't beat them. Join them. So we're going to do our own Two Beards podcast, Wrexham Podcast Awards for the end of the season, but we're going to have a little twist on it. So instead of us having to each name one player or one person each, we have to both agree, which means we got to debate the fucking shit out of this. And we have to both agree at the end who gets what award. So
fun.
If we can't agree, we go
to the fucking wheel.
We go to the wheel of names.
Yeah. Love it. Well, dude, did you want to kick it off?
Oh, okay. Best Super Sub Award. Okay, here we go. Two Beards Wrexham Podcast Awards for the 23-24 EFL League 2 season. First up, Best Super Sub Award. Now, I was thinking who to give this to, because we have had quite a few decent subs come on.
Yep.
I'm going to say my favorite super sub has to be Fletch.
Yep. Scottish Viking Jesus.
Just Scottish Viking Jesus. every single time he comes on as a sub, he makes an impact. Now, I know we've seen Dolby come on a few times and we've seen Marriott obviously come on, be subbed on, but none of them have made the impact that old Scottish Viking Jesus has had. So I think that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Super sub has to be Fletch, aka Scottish Viking Jesus.
And look, this is my turn to rebuttal and usually give another option. We're going to present awards each, and then we'll say our case, and the other person will rebuttal if they don't agree. I do agree wholeheartedly. When we were making these like awards, I just went, I actually don't think I could preempt any of them except for that one, where I was like, nah, it was just going to be Scottish Viking Jesus. Like it doesn't matter what other subs we had come on throughout the year. We've had, McLean as a sub come on and been pretty good, but they haven't had the impact that Fletch has. How many times has he kicked goals when we need him to? Stood up, especially when we were pretty shit. Like we're talking like when we were ordinary, he stood up for us. And I think that meant a lot for the club, but also just as the super sub. So I don't know, man. Best super sub award is definitely Stephen Fletcher.
Stephen Fletcher. There you go. You win the sweet fuck all trophy.
There it is. Another one.
Best super sub award. Here we go. The trophy in one of these hands. You can hold it. You can juggle it. It's a fuck all award.
There you go.
Super sub. So congratulations, Scottish Viking Jesus. You did good, son.
You did good. You did good. Well, I want to go with this one because I think the next one is definitely a Rousey to present. But I'll do this one here, which is Sexiest Player Award. Now, the reason we have this is purely because we are very lucky as a club that we've got owners who are good looking, their partners good looking, the players good looking Roosters. And we've got a few that we can throw out. I'm talking about, Stephen Fletcher again. I'm talking about Elliot Lee. I'm talking about James McLean. These are people who are just slick boys who just know, they look good. They're and if I'm a female who is in, or someone who likes the men, then I'm probably going to be gravitating towards those players. So I
think we need to look at this award as who would you turn gay for?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's call it that because I don't think I could go by any other one. But honestly, mate, I'm tossing up between Scottish Viking Jesus and Elliot Lee.
Okay.
Because Elliot Lee has he has the groomed look. He's got he's just well kept, muscly bloke, seems to just have a winning smile. Obviously a ripper of a player and a person. But same with Scottish Viking Jesus. Dude's got the tats. He's got the man bun, but he's got the Viking beard. I don't know. He's got the jawline going,
I'm surprised you put Fletch in there.
I don't know, man. He's a pretty good looking rooster. I
understand, but I mean, you look at good looking players like McLean even.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bit of a looker. And then you got Palmer as well. I mean,
yeah. Look, I didn't put Ollie in it because I just think that I'm really going to narrow it down to what I think it is. And I genuinely think Elliot Lee is probably our best looking bloke. And there's no bias in that. It's just what I think. But I've seen a lot of women on X, a lot, talk about Stephen Fletcher, and a lot of the American guys who are talking, they're always like, yeah,
he's got a very unique look though.
He does.
But it is and stuff. I mean,
I don't know, man. I'll let the women decide, or the people who want to decide in the comments.
Just think about this, right? You're on your knees.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
Nope. No. We're not though, are we? But we're not, are we?
No, we're not. But we're not, are we? Who would you rather looking down at you while you're on your knees? Right. That's how you determine who's sexy. Could you really?
Is that how you define who sexy is?
I mean, I don't know. I just think Stephen Fletcher's cum face might be a little bit.
Look, we all know that you already have the hots for Elliot Lee, so there was never a competition in your eyes, my friend. So I don't think he ever stood a chance, even as much as I could debate.
I was going to put Palmer in here, and I was going to put McLean in for it as well. So I would go Elliot Lee, Palmer, and McLean. I mean
Yeah.
McLean because he's fucking ripped. But Elliot Lee, he's got the beard, he's got the looks, he's got the charm, and if you look at
Oh,
it
my
from that
Lord.
aspect, you know,
Yeah, well, fuck it. Can we move on?
and you made this one.
I made it.
You made this one.
I didn't think your version of sexy. I thought we were talking about like appeal, like, okay, he's got the features, the jawline, and you're just like, what does he look like when he comes? Like, it's not how it works. It's not how sexy is defined. If I'm defined as like, oh, but how would I know if, I can't tell you if Adrian's sexy or not, purely because I haven't seen him come yet. Like, it's not how it works.
Oh dear, what a start to these awards. Holy shit.
Glad we
Okay.
started with that one and not end on that. God damn. Well, moving on, I think this one probably is fitting and actually pretty much goes into the next. So, who are we giving Sexiest Player Award to?
Well, I think we've both said it, Elliot Lee.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
And that gets into the next award. What's that next award called?
Hang on. We'll get to that. So Elliot Lee,
He's writing it down.
sexiest player. Well, I've got to write it down because I've got to make all the bloody fancy fucking shit that goes on.
He's just writing, he's just drawing Elliot Lee's cum face. That's exactly what he's doing. He's not writing his name. He's like, what he looks like when he owes. Like,
I've got to make all the fancy fucking shit and all the cheers and all that sort of stuff. So I've got to write down who we're voting for these. So
for this one, I bet you're going to have something that will not be good for YouTube. Let's just say that.
Elliot Lee, congratulations, mate. You take out our sexiest
Poor bastard.
awards. I imagine there's quite a few women out there that would agree with that, and a few men if you swing that way. So Elliot Lee, sexiest player award for 2024. Well done, mate.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Oh shit. But we move into the next one. The next one, which is none other than the best moment to get your Elliot Lee out. Now, for those of you that don't know, or if you're watching the visual, right, the Elliot Lee happens to be the shot that looks like this, right? That's your Elliot Lee. What moment gets that?
For those who are listening, it's just his crotch. It's just Elliot Lee's crotch where he was rocking a semi during the year this year. I'm pretty sure it was against MK. I can't remember, but it was during the year and he was rocking a semi and everyone was like, what? Why, what? It's a mouthful.
So we have a thing. We have a thing in the fuckheads chat. Whenever Elliot Lee scores, it's like get your Elliot Lee's out. Everyone's got that crotch shot, and that crotch shot just gets littered across Discord.
Do you think he like if he ever heard any of this? Do you reckon we just get a cease and desist?
No, fuck no. But the thing is, how do we give the best moment to get Elliot Lee out? Because it's going to go to Elliot Lee. Because he's the only time we get the Elliot Lees out right.
Yeah.
But maybe we give another good moment to someone else. And I'm actually going to say McLean giving it in the last match to, was it Rowe? Giving him a bit of a snuggle, bit of a kiss.
Bit of chew on his ear, nibble on his ear. That was a pretty good moment to get your Elliot Lee out because it was a very sensual moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Or there's Palmer when he scored on the weekend. He did the old sexy pose. Actually, there's going to be my two I'm going to settle on right now. It'll be Palmer when he scored on the weekend. He did the Deadpool pose. And obviously Elliot McLean when he had a bit of a snuggle.
I think the Elliot Lee one where he was outside of the box and he just banged one in. It was the first time. Yeah, it was. No, it was the first time in the chat that Rousey had gotten people unanimously without prompting to have that picture saved, and they all posted it 5-6 times. Just in a row, this picture just pops up because he scored. For me, that's the best moment to get Elliot Lee out. But in terms of on the pitch, honestly, I think I agree with the Palmer one. The Deadpool pose was quite sensual. I would give it to the McLean one, but I think the Palmer one takes the cake.
I think we're pretty happy with that. The Palmer one. So Palmer scoring against Stockport, the first goal against Stockport. It was a bloody good goal too. So I think, we give it to Palmer to get your Elliot Lee out. And none other, it's rather fitting because he's a good looking rooster as well. So, So Ollie Palmer, well done, mate. Sweet fuck all coming right at you.
Yep, literally.
Best moment to get your Elliot Lee out. Ollie Palmer, well done, mate.
Well, you know what? We go into a more serious award, but this is something that I've actually thought about a lot. Because when we were putting this list together, I was like, okay, we'll have things like goal of the season and things like that. But then I was like, no, we have to have assist of the season because there are so many fucking incredible assists that our boys have been able to do this year. And I know it might even go into the goal of the season depending on what we agree or disagree on. But the assist from Paul Mullen, and I'm trying to remember who was it against, and I'm pissed off that I can't remember. Hold on. Let me just get it was when Andy Cannon scored, and he went from the back half, took the ball, and ran it all the way, dribbling it past players. I'm pissed off because I've forgotten exactly the game. Let me just find it for us.
Actually, so obviously that I know which game you're talking about there. That was the
Crawley. Was it the Crawley game? No.
Yeah.
No, it was away. It was Colchester away. Wasn't it?
But that was, I think it was, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was.
But he actually passed that off to O'Connor, and then O'Connor slotted it in. So he didn't really qualify for that assist. So O'Connor's passed it across. Is that the one you're talking about, where Elliot Lee started it, then Mullen dribbled it past about 3 defenders on the run, slotted it to O'Connor on the outside, then O'Connor passed it into the path of Cannon, then Cannon.
That's right. It was Grimsby away.
Grimsby away.
Yeah. So that for me, that was best assist of the season because that was a team play. You've got Elliot Lee fighting for his life to get the fucking ball out of the opposite, like the attacking box for Grimsby. Then you've got us, on the other hand, having to funnel the ball out as quickly as we fucking could. And Mullen is able to dance around, put it through people's legs, get the ball and run it absolutely ragged. I'm pretty sure he just pinged it to Cannon, but pop the reel up anyways. I don't think anyone should get it. I think those 4 players that you've listed should be getting that because that is.
Give it to one though.
No, but we're going to because we can't give it to just Elliot Lee because he just started it. I believe Paul Mullen assisted that. I'm almost certain he passed it to Cannon and Cannon shot, but I'm going to benefit of the doubt that it went to O'Connor, but I'm still giving it to Paul Mullen for assist of the season. What about you, mate?
I'm going to have to disagree.
Okay.
Paul Mullen has had some pretty good assists, but there's only one assist that comes to my mind here, and that's McLean passing it over to Barnett, who's punched it out of the air into the back of the net. Picture perfect. Like, you don't get more perfect than that. That was bang on, right in front of exactly where Barnett needed it. Enough for Barnett to make the split-second decision to then volley it straight out of the air in between 2 defenders and curling it right into the back of the net. I mean, you don't get better than that. I mean, that is just fucking splooge your pants stuff, that.
I mean, that was a very, very, very good goal. And of course, it happens against, that one is the one that happened against Forest Green. And he's been able to, it was on a special occasion as well. Look, he did put it on a platter. I'm I'm agreeing to disagree in the sense that I still think Paul Mullen's heroics to be able to move the ball the way he did after being under such duress to then have to fucking leg it, cross it across the pitch to a cannon who then runs in and scores. That for me is something that sits in my mind. But I agree with you. McLean put it on a platter for him. And that's going to probably come up in the discussion
And
for the
not
next
only
award.
that, he put it on a platter from across the other side of the pitch. Now, I don't need to tell you how insanely fucking hard that is. That has got to be, without a doubt, that's international standard. That is fucking McLean to a T. McLean's given so many assists this season, as well as Barnett. Barnett's given quite a few, but to do it from the other side of the pitch, to put it right on a dime.
Yeah.
I mean, you
So did
just
Mullen, though. Mullins was across the pitch to the other
but
side of
Mullins
the
was a
pitch.
team effort though. Like that Mullins started that. He didn't actually assist.
If you watch it back, and I want you to play it, Cannon scores that. He's the one who catches it. He's the one who scores
Yeah,
it.
but
So
Mullen, like I said, where he went from Lee, Mullen, O'Connor in front of.
I don't think he went to O'Connor, but I think he went straight to Cannon. But we can agree to disagree on that when you play the footage in here. But but because of that discrepancy, I'm happy to concede and say that the goal of assist of the season goes to James McLean for that 100%.
James McLean, assist of the season. Wow. I mean, he actually got one. We've been talking about him all this time, and he finally got one. So,
Yep.
James McLean, mate, you are our king. We fucking love you, and we love the shit you bring to the field, and it's just so good. So, I think in this instance now we both agree. I managed to sway Adrian here. James McLean, assist of the season, 2024. Here comes sweet fuck all coming at you. All right, so now we have to go to a quick ad break. So guys, we're gonna cut to a quick break, and then afterwards we actually will discuss the juicy goal of the season, which should be interesting. We'll see where this one goes. So guys, be sure to hang around because that gets good from here on in. So roll the ads. Woo!
Yep.
Well, we hope you enjoyed those ads. I don't know which ad you got. You probably would have got ads based on where you were in the year, but
and they're all erectile dysfunction.
They're all yep. Get that pilot into you. So now we come to our next award, which is going to be goal of the season, right? Goal of the season. Now, how do you pick goal of the season? I mean, fuck me dead. There's been so many goals this season, so many goals, and if we didn't actually fucking lose a game 5-0 or lose where we'd probably be up there with Stockport and goal differential, but fuck me dead. How do you pick this one? So I've narrowed this one down to 2 goals that stood out for me.
Do it.
All right. The first one is obviously Barnett against Forest Green.
Yep.
And the second, which I really, really fondly remember, was Elliot Lee against Sutton in the dying moments of the game, and he just fucking rocketed one from outside the box. And oh wow, that was something else, that goal. So I've actually brought it down to those 2 goals. And I think it's going to come down to me. I'm going to argue the case for Elliot Lee to have that as goal of the season.
Honestly, when we went into assist of the season, I thought you would be in a full agreement. Barnett, half volley, mid-air, second goal of his Wrexham career. That is some epic shit. He is pinged that so hard. Dude, if you've watched the AAA of the Forest Green game, the access all areas from Wrexham, they've got a camera behind it. You can see the curve in it. It is one of the most outstanding goals I've not just seen this season, but I've seen in a Wrexham shirt. It was a very, very good goal. So for me, I'm actually going to die on that hill. That is the one for me because I've seen a couple. You've seen some great. I do agree that Elliot Lee one is an absolute banger. But Barnett, like you said, it's the delivery from McLean, which you've already fought the case for. Pin fucking point. Pings it. A guy who hasn't scored all season, his wife or girlfriend or partner, whoever, went away for 2 weeks for a girls' trip or something. Those 2 weeks, he scored 2 goals, one in each game. Now, what I'm trying to get at is maybe you should stay away. No, I'm joking. But Barnett is goal of the season for me. I know that people like Ryan from Either Wife and Wrexham would agree. He was there at the game, said that was goal of the season for him. I'm going to die on that hill. That's what I'm going to go
I mean, it's so hard to pick because there have been some absolute belting goals. And I'm actually, you know what, I think with this one, just to keep it short and sweet for goal of the season, I'm going to have to give it to Barnett because we both mentioned Barnett.
Yep.
Right. And you didn't mention any other one. But, I mean, look, that Elliot Lee goal was
I had made up my mind.
Rocket. Like, he absolutely rocketed that goal. So, and to do that from outside the box was fucking fantastic. But I mean, that Barnett goal is, I mean, I even thought about old Scottish Viking Jesus with his overhead kick, but I mean, that was a pretty good one as well. But I just think that this one takes a little bit more finesse, a little bit more skill, as well as a bit of luck. So
and the occasion.
So we're in agreement on that one.
Yeah, we agree. And it's the occasion. It's the occasion that really won us over, I think, is that it was the day we got promoted and what a way to do it. And honestly, I've watched that over and over.
Oh, I've watched it plenty of times too. And it's a really, really good goal. So goal of the season, Two Beards, Wrexham Podcast 2024. Sweet fuck all coming right at you, Ryan Barnett. Well done, mate. That's a good effort, and I couldn't go to anyone more deserving, especially for their was his first EFL League goal. Yeah,
I believe so.
So we'll give it to old Barney. Good old Barney.
Hey.
Now, what award do we have next?
We have this is a funny one because I was thinking of trying to think of ideas and I thought of best yellow/red card of the season. Now, the reason I say best, I mean just comical and just the fun of it. Now, James McLean, just for fun facts, because I'm bringing the fun facts into the awards.
How many yellow cards did he have this season?
12 yellow cards.
Okay, now
12 fucking yellow cards. And oh man, that boy, he just... God damn, he's just he's like a bull in a china shop is McLean. Now I'm trying to find the exact game he did it, but I know I can remember the moment. Yeah, here it is. We played. Who did we play? We played fucking Bradford. Now, no, sorry, it was sorry, I've gone up and down here, but basically most red cards out of the season was actually Will Boyle. He got 2 red cards. Barnett got one, a tasty one against Crew. Bit contentious, bit of 50-50. I remember we were creative discussion around what we believed to be correct in that one. That was definitely one, but that cost us because we drew with Crew that day 3-3. So that was a really hard one to take. But I had it, and I'm pissed off that I lost it. Here we go. Andy Cannon. We played Crawley away and we won 1-0. But I remember cursing the man that we now love. Andy Cannon came on for an injured Jacob Mendy. So you'll remember this. Jacob Mendy came off. He'd fucked up his hamstring, completely fucked it. Came off. Andy came on for 6 minutes of game time. Andy Cannon came on and probably didn't need to do it. It was just maybe a little bit on the edge of the box, and he slid in and fucking nailed this Crawley player. Straight red, 6 minutes of game time. Andy Cannon, you get my vote because that is fucking comical. I remember cursing his name in that episode saying,
No,
Andy,
you
you
know
played your
what?
last game.
You know what? No argument. Absolutely no argument there whatsoever. I mean, there's so many moments we could talk about McLean, but McLean's ones were warranted.
Yep.
And we got to look at the team and that, because I know Andy Cannon had one that was against him as well, which was a straight red. But we have to look at the team and our team and within our team and those moments. So I'm going to be in complete agreement here, because he came on for 6 fucking minutes and got sent off. It's like, I'm too tired. Don't want to play. Fucking.
He literally, and he full in 2 foot slide tackle. Like, not just like, oh, I'll just hack in there. He went 2 foot, didn't even touch the ball, straight into the guy's legs, and was like, what? What did I do? And it's like, bro, you were brought on for an injury. And I remember cursing, saying, that's the last we'll see of Andy Cannon. And I was so very wrong, and I've never been so happy to be wrong, because I'm in love with that man. So well done, Andy Cannon.
Yeah, well done. Andy Cannon, the best yellow/red card of the season. Sweet fuck all coming right at you.
There you are.
That's a good effort, mate. That is a good effort. So far, just to quickly recap, we have our best super sub being Scottish Viking Jesus.
Yep.
Got our sexiest player award going to Elliot Lee.
Yep.
We've got best moment to get Elliot Lee out would be Ollie Palmer. Our assist of the season goes to none other than James McLean. Goal of the season goes to Barnett. And obviously the best yellow/red card of the season goes to Andy Cannon.
6 minute glory.
Now, my one. Now, this
Oof.
one we're not limiting to the club.
No,
This one's based on our podcast.
correct.
Those of you that have listened to our podcast know that I like to call people out every so often and refer to them in a general Aussie saying as numpties. Now, a numpty is someone who's just a clown, an idiot, dumb, stupid, whatever way you want to look at it. It's all of those things all rolled into one, and we call them numpties. Now, I know it's a term that's been coined around the world as well, but it's an Aussie term originally, numpty. So now it's time to give our numpty of the year. Now, I think we all know where this is going. I'm
not even gonna dispute this. I'm not even gonna rebuttal, because I'm with you.
Only person to get 2 numpties of the week this year is none other than Andy Fuck Your Donkey Holt, right? Andy Holt from Accrington Stanley just loves a good carry on about Wrexham, likes to have wet dreams about Wrexham, will carry on about Wrexham. We all know earlier on in the season he increased ticket prices by £5 because Wrexham are coming to town, and he needed obviously money to pay for his hookers. You know, he's a right cunt. But anyway, yeah, so I just can't dispute that. If you are dumb enough to get fucking numpty of the season twice, the only person on this list I do not want to see their cum face is Andy Holt. So, yep.
No arguments, mate. No fucking arguments. Andy Holt, honestly, every day of the week, you could give it for either one. I was raging at both of them. You were raging at both of them. When he got numpty of the week twice, he would have got it a third time if it wasn't for your mate who didn't pay up. And I swear, if his mate didn't pay up, that man would be going for numpty of the year in his eyes, at least in your eyes, Rousey.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. I mean, look, you can't argue with it.
Give me your fucking money.
Give me your money, bitch. But Andy Holt, I mean, what can we say about him? You know, do we want to
Nothing.
give this cunt some airtime? I mean, what a dick, seriously.
Nah, honestly, I said in the last time we mentioned his name, I won't mention it again, and I already have, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I've already broken my one rule, so I'm done with him. League Two, bye bye.
Bye bye. Yep. So Andy Holt, congratulations, mate. You're fuckhead of the year. Oh, sorry, numpty of the year. You're just a right dick, mate. Fucking
Yep.
we'll be leaving you in our dust. You will
Yeah.
not get those sweet Wrexham dollars anymore. And you know what? I wouldn't be
Dollary
surprised
dues.
if we do not pop up on the if Accrington Stanley gets fucking booted out of the Welcome to Wrexham documentary.
Oh no, he'll have a big segment, of course.
Yeah.
But we digress. We move on to probably an award that we both kind of thought we're not trying to single someone out, where we're going to acknowledge the entire fuckhead program. So for you guys,
that's how much we hate Andy Holt, by the way. He's not even getting sweet FA.
Nah,
You
we
don't
just
deserve
move
it.
on. We just move on. We just move on. But fuckhead of the year is one that we've thought about together, and it's not to single out just one person. We have been very lucky. We've gone through the list, but I want to take this time here to go through everyone again. So we have Aaron, Andy, Will, Chris, John, Anthony, Deandra, Mark, Dan, Anthony, Jake, Sarah, and obviously Ryan as well, who's an honorary fuckhead from Me, the Wife, and Wrexham. We are very lucky to have the people we have in this, and we can call them not just fuckheads and not just supporters of the podcast or executive producers. A lot of the time, and I'd like to say, and I'm sure they would too, they're friends now. And I think we're very lucky because we're not, yes, we have a program for it. And yes, we do it to raise funds to pay for the podcast or towards our Wrexham trip. So there's no hiding that fact. But the fact that these people turn up week in, week out to spend their time watching the game, chatting with us, it actually brings me to tears thinking about how lucky we are to have people across the globe who want to actually talk with two Aussies, not from Wrexham, never been there in our fucking lives, but they respect our takes and they respect our podcast enough to donate and to do it. So to all of you fuckheads, you're all bloody brilliant and we love you. So fuckhead of the year is all of you, and that's how it should be.
Fuckhead of the year to all the fuckheads. Wow,
Can't single someone out. You can't.
Yeah, okay.
And then Rousey comes out, he goes, yeah, my favourite's Mark. And then everyone hates Rousey for the rest of their days.
What I knew was fuckhead. I mean, I could have probably even said Ryan because he actually was enough to come out with that good old saying when he's like, oh, we need to, what was it?
Fuck, it was a good one.
We have it here or something, and then they went and scored.
Nah, there's that, and Ryan also made probably one of my favorite sayings ever. He goes, what is it? He goes, it's shit when, we have the team that we do, we work wonders, and I still fucking hate them or something like, just like it was just something around those lines. And I was just like, oh no, they still put me through this fucking like grief every week. But like, yeah, look, obviously an honorary fuckhead of the year. And if you want to give just the one, but I think all of them have been really good in their own right. From the OGs, we've had Aaron and Chris at the start, got Ryan in, Sarah, Will, and then we just kept growing and growing and growing. And it is what it is now. So look, don't want to single anyone out, but if you want to, you can do it.
Bloody hell. Put the pressure on me, why don't you?
Here's you. Here's the bus. I'm throwing you under it.
Well, I mean, I look at it as contribution towards the group. Now, there's a couple of people in there that contribute a lot, but more people have come in since then.
I still can't believe you're singling someone out.
Aaron is a great dude. I think shout out to Aaron. He loves to have a good chat in the group. So does Anthony. He's a man of my own heart. He loves his weed.
He's gonna single someone out. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
And then obviously Ryan with his classic moments. And
what is gonna happen here?
Oh, we got to. You can't just.
He's like, we have a fuckhead program, but I only like one of them.
It's not like that. Fucking hell. It's not like that at all. I mean, I love every single bloody one of them, but we can only really give it to one.
Well,
Jeez.
you know what? I made it. I thought I'd succinctly said it. You'd agree with it. We'd move on. But who thought you would debate that everyone should get it? He's like, no, some of them are cunts. I want the other ones to win. I didn't say it. He did. It was verbatim
Chris
what he
Wilms,
said.
obviously, he loves a good chat after the games as well, and he gave us a really big donation when Wrexham went up. So I mean, who do we give it to?
What? And we moved the fuck on.
Well, you put me in this position, dude. I've been thinking about this one all day. Like, who the fuck do we give fuckhead of the year to?
I thought I gave you a free pass by saying everyone, and you're like, nah, it doesn't really work like that, does it though, mate? I'm like, we make up the rules, you fuck.
Oh, dude, do we fucking settle on that? Jesus.
Yes.
I don't know though.
I can't believe he's disputing this, guys. If you want to be part of the fuckhead program and you want to be singled out as just the only one that he actually likes and the only one, and he doesn't want to say that all of you want.
Giving one person fuckhead of the year doesn't mean I hate everyone else.
No, it is 100%. You told me this before on air. He's like, I hate them all. I hate them.
So you're doing that. I'm going to fucking agree with you. Fuckhead of the year goes to all the fuckheads. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I love winding you up. It's just fun.
Easy. Shit. All right. Well, fuckhead of the year goes to all the fuckheads. Dang it. All right. Okay. We got another one. So we got young player of the season next. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty ones, the real big ones. So
sorry, yeah, the real ones. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
I think there's going to be some. I think there's going to be an interesting discussion around this next one, and obviously the one after as well. So we go young player of the season. Now, depends what you classify as young. I mean, is it Luke
Stephen
Young?
Fletcher?
Is Luke Young the player of the season? You know, because he's got Young in his name.
Yep.
Is it Max Cleworth, which I have a feeling you're going to go for, or is it Arthur Okonkwo, who obviously got goalkeeper of the season, and he had the most amount of clean sheets and
most amount of near side post goals conceded.
Yeah, most amount of near side post. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, I don't know who to give this one to. I'm going to pass this one over to you right now, so you can help me change my mind, because I've either got Arthur Okonkwo or Max Cleworth.
Yeah, but I think they're the only two, really. You can't really name another one. You can't name one of the newbies like a Bolton or anyone like that. And I don't even think you consider him young either. So, look, it has to be either him. Look, I don't want to diminish Okonkwo. I make jokes because I'm trying to stick up for the fact that Max Cleworth probably deserves this more than anyone. I don't think I've seen, like, Okonkwo's come in and he has stood up and he has made his mark on the League Two stage in that team of the season. Max Cleworth didn't make the team of the season, but he did. So you could make an argument that validates Okonkwo for a young player of the year. But I don't know, Max Cleworth, I'm not trying to say that Okonkwo was given his opportunity, but he's a goalkeeper that came to start. He came to be the number one goalkeeper, and he did it. And he did it perfectly well, and he was amazing. Max Cleworth had no gift. He was not gifted that spot. We just had a bunch of defenders coming in and out. Will Boyles of the world, the Tozers of the world, the Aaron Haydens of the world, in and out and in and out and in and out. Real sexual-like. And Max Cleworth, for me, deserves it on the fact that he cemented his spot and he didn't leave. Now, Okonkwo did that too, but there's a harder thing to say because there's only one or two replacements for Okonkwo. With Max, there's probably 6. So that's where I kind of draw my conclusion that I definitely would say Okonkwo easy would be a second very close to first, but it has to be Max Clareworth for me.
And you know what? I'm going to 100% agree with you on that one. The dude's been an absolute rock at the back. And I think, he's going to be a very, very big player moving forward. I think he's going to be one of our first players, probably worth a couple million. He's
cool.
he's that good. He's that class. And I think he's going to do really well for us in League One. And I can't wait to see what he brings, or whether we sell him or not. I don't doubt we would, though.
No.
So Max Cleworth, mate, you're a fucking legend, and we are so proud to actually give you our young player of the season, the sweet FA trophy right here, coming at you. Max Cleworth, the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast Young Player of the Season 2024.
And if you want to join on the podcast, Max, we know we're a bit above age, 18 plus, but I think you're of age now that I feel like you'd be allowed to join. We just get you the permission slip signed, and then and then you're more than welcome to come on.
Yeah. Now there's grass on the pitch, we can interview him.
Why? Fucking next award. But I want you to now, this is the one that I just know you're going to nail in terms of presenting this. So just take it away, mate. The biggest award of the night.
The biggest award of the night, player of the season. Now, here we go. 2023-24, Two Beards Wrexham Podcast player of the season. And I see this coming from a mile away because I know where this one's going to go. Now, when I was sitting down here waiting for or thinking about who I'm going to give this to, I had two choices. I had Andy Cannon and I had Elliot Lee. Now, the only reason I'm going to vehemently argue for Elliot Lee to be...
Did you have a boner for him?
That is true. But the only reason I'm going to argue for Elliot Lee to be player of the season is because, one, he's played pretty much every single minute of the season. He had a 15-minute break for one game. But he has been our stalwart. When Paul Mullen was out, he was the guy kicking goals. He was the guy making plays. And yes, he had a few tired games. Yes, his form has been a little bit patchy towards that second half of the season. But he's been there, playing every single minute of every single game, giving his all. And you can clearly see him giving his all. He has his creative moments. He's had his absolutely blinding goals. And whereas I look at Andy Cannon, who's had an absolute ripper of a second half of the season, but he's also had red cards. He's also spent some time out of the team. He wasn't a regular stay until that second half, really just after Christmas. So I think given that, if Andy Cannon had done that all year, I would be giving it to him hands down. But purely for the fact that Elliot Lee's been our guy, our absolute stalwart. Every single minute he's played, he's had some major magical moments. He's had goals and winning goals as well. I have to give it to Elliot Lee. So that's my player of the season, and that's why I'm giving it to Elliot Lee.
Wow.
Purely for that fact. He's earned it. He's more than earned it because of how much he's given of himself to this club over this season. So my one's Elliot Lee.
And that's why it's called Two Beards and Two Opinions. And I'm going to counter that with the exact reasoning that you gave for Elliot Lee. Elliot Lee was amazing in that first half of the season. And he was really good in patches in that second half. But there were games where he wasn't on the score sheet. He wasn't in the best. He wasn't there in that. So I'm leveling it there for Andy Cannon because Andy Cannon's come out here and I'm doing it purely also on perception and growth. I know that there's like a most improved award or something like that. But when I think about player of the season, we knew what we were getting with Elliot Lee, especially that first half. He was absolutely outstanding. Elliot Lee, if we didn't have him, again, we don't get promotion. But I could argue the same in the second half with Andy Cannon. So I'm kind of weighing up first half of the season where we were not great and Elliot Lee's standing out, or Andy Cannon when we were losing away games in that second half of the season and he was being the person we needed to pick up points, win us games in the last minute, a la against Stockport, albeit, for no real points that we needed, but points regardless. I think Andy Cannon's been able to show a ferocity that he pushes hard for every ball. We noticed with Lee, even against this last recent game against Stockport, he's a bit slower, he's a bit tired, he's played a whole season. That's the whole point. Andy Cannon didn't, so he had the legs to push it. So I'm actually going to be controversially backflipping because I fully went into this discussion saying Andy Cannon. But when Chris put it out there that he was good in the first half, well, think about it. The first half, we were pretty shit. And he was amazing. Is it better to give it to the guy who was good when we were good, or when we're good when we were bad?
Okay, I think you're looking at this a bit differently because we weren't really shit in the first half because we went into Christmas within the top 3. We had a shit start. There were about maybe 4 or 5 games which was shit, but generally we were really good. And the one player that stood out among all those games was Elliot Lee. So you can't really
when I
say
said
we had a shit
backflip,
first half.
if you let me finish,
okay, all right.
I said backflip. What does backflip mean?
Oh shit! Did I convince you?
I was trying to, but now I don't want to because you're a cunt. But at the end of the day, I do agree. Elliot Lee was there. Yes, he had a couple of games. Andy Cannon was a firecracker, most improved player. The growth in that man and what he will put out next year in League One might even surpass what Elliot Lee can do next year. But in this season and this season alone, I actually would give it to the person who's played in the harder matches, who's stood up when we were not great, the guy who was still on top of his game when maybe we were missing that little extra. Andy Cannon was that little bit extra we needed. Don't get me wrong. He was. And he was the match winner, the person who swayed us a lot. But it came off of the foundation that Elliot Lee set. So I am with you 110%. I would give it to Elliot Lee.
Elliot Lee. I have to give a round of applause to that and a drink, the final bit of my drink, my Jack Daniels and cola.
I wanted to agree with him and make it a big song and dance, and he's like, nah, fuck it.
I did not see this going this way. Elliot Lee, player of the season, Two Beards Wrexham podcast. Player of the season. Well done, Elliot Lee. You are fucking amazing. You are the man. You are Wrexham epitomized.
This should be the end of the podcast with the confetti. You know, when people do an end of a podcast, I'm like, thanks for coming, guys. And it's just the fucking streamers and shit. Can you do that? Is that something you put in edit?
I can probably do something like that, yeah. I surprised myself. I had the wheel going. I've got Elliot Lee's name on the wheel. I actually thought I was going to have to add bloody Andy Cannon on there.
No, look, you actually convinced me. As I said, I full-heartedly had gone into it to battle you with this. But even as the words started coming out of my mouth, I'm thinking of the tough times, and Elliot Lee was there. Yep. Standing up. And that's what I was going off. I wasn't trying to say, I played good in the shit games and what does that matter? I was more trying to be like, he stood up when no one else would. And I think that shows a little bit more.
Yep, exactly. So Elliot Lee, player of the season. Well done, mate. And honorary mention, I think we know, Golden Boot Award goes to Paul Mullen with his 24 goals. He hasn't won a single award.
Rebuttal. You can't rebuttal that one.
You shove that golden boot right up your fanny, you fucking nut.
Well done. Well
No,
done.
honestly,
Well done.
honestly, yeah, I think Paul Mullen was an honourable mention for, as well as the Golden Boot. The Two Beers Golden Condom Award goes to. There we go.
Wouldn't that be for protection for like, like
You
a
know what?
defender?
That might be a good idea for next season.
Yeah.
Golden condom.
Golden condom. I don't know. Protection could also be protecting the goals, but so could that be goalkeeper of the year? Like, it's, no glove, no love, and goalkeepers wear gloves.
Right. On that note, let's wrap things up. After this, we chat some shit. We look forward to what's ahead, and we finish the podcast up for the
I'm out of energy,
23-24 season.
I'm done.
Roll the ad break. Woo! Well, that is it for 23-24 season.
Bye. Bye, League Two.
No, we're not
See
saying
ya.
bye right now. We are going.
No, I'm saying goodbye to League Two.
Yeah, no, goodbye to League Two. Yeah, get fucked, League Two.
Get fucked, League Two.
That was a cooked league, mate. That was a cooked league. I've never, ever, I mean, in all my years, I mean, that league was probably the weirdest, hardest to call. I don't think anyone got a single prediction right. Score prediction maybe, but I mean, like, it was bloody hard. Like,
Nah, dude. Like we did an episode on it, and someone already brought the attention that it was quite funny. Pretty sure we decided on MK Dons to win. No, we had Wrexham, then we had MK, then we had someone else, but it was just teams that were just like nowhere near. That's those spots. I think I had Gillingham in there as one of the autos. One of the playoff teams.
We had Colchester going down though, didn't we? Pretty sure we had Colchester going down.
Or Sutton.
Yeah. So we got one of them, right?
It was one of them. Yeah.
Forest Green. So Forest Green and Sutton sadly relegated out of the Football League. Enjoy your time in the National League because that league is just as fucked, and we all know how hard that league is to get out of. Holy shit.
Also, commiserations needs to be had. I don't know if you heard, but with the National League, did you hear about the playoffs?
No.
So, and I'll just read exactly the team, but so National League, obviously we know how the playoffs work. We didn't have to go through it, thank God, but we know what it's like. And let's just say the National League initially had a team in the table. They had Gateshead. Now, Gateshead, I don't know if you know about this, but they're a team that have been struggling for funding, struggling for community thing, and they made playoffs, which on a shoestring budget, they can't even pay people. It is a hard slog. They made playoffs. And then the National League came out and said, sorry, Gateshead, your council have said that you can't pay for your stadium. So therefore, you can't compete in the playoffs. And it was it was to do with the longevity of this, having the stadium as a contract or a rolling contract. And the contract ended at the end of the season. Now, here's the thing, they could still host games, but it was for the foreseeable future, assuming they lost in National League. But I guess when they go up, if they were to go up, then they wouldn't have anywhere to play. But you tell me this, if Gateshead had have gone up into the Football League, you can't tell me that their council wouldn't have been there with bells on saying, of course you can play here. Of course you can. We want you here, because they're going to get fucking money. But those dogs basically ratted them out to the National League, and the National League took them off the roster. And there was a bye. So no other team made it. They just did a bye for a team.
What?
Yep. So I think it was, I can't remember who got it. Solihull? Or did they put Halifax in? But someone got a bye. Yeah. On this side of the draw. I think it was.
Wait, did they completely knock Gateshead out of the whole entire league?
Out of the playoffs.
Ah.
But it's still dog. Like they had a shot.
That's fucked.
But it's hilarious because Barnet finished second, and quite convincingly second, and they just got knocked out 4-0 by Solihull Moors, who finished in fifth. So I'm glad we're out of that league. Let's just say that. So
who's
fuck
left
League
in
Two
the playoffs now?
in National League.
So we know Chesterfield, they're going up.
Yeah, they're already up. Bromley beat Altrincham. Bromley. Oh wow! So the playoff final's already been decided. So it's Bromley versus Solihull.
Bromley versus Solihull for the wow.
I'm probably butchering the pronunciation.
Those are two sides that are going to go straight back down.
Dude, I can't believe that Barnet they were a class outfit. I remember we struggled against them last year, even in our form. And they were, I'm kind of glad though. I hated their goalkeeper, the dog. Anyways, fuck National League, fuck League Two. We're in League One now. I'm excited.
That is very controversial though, to knock out Gateshead like that.
It's awful because, you can see anything can happen in playoffs. Wrexham know that better than anyone. How many times did we finish second and then get knocked out straight away? So imagine Gateshead finishing sixth. They probably would have knocked out.
Yeah. I think Chesterfield will probably do all right next season.
Yeah, they'll stay up. I don't know if they'll go back-to-back promotion, but
they won't go back-to-back. There's no way. Not with what's going down into League Two. Have you seen who's going down into League Two yet?
I haven't seen who's gone down. I know who's in League One. I haven't seen who's gone down, though.
So, being relegated from League One, I'll tell you now. I want to make sure.
Shit. Yeah, okay.
So, being relegated from League One, so they've played all their matches. So, as we know in League One, 4 teams go down. The teams going down are Cheltenham, Fleetwood, Port Vale, and Carlisle.
I can't believe Port Vale, we just did this ships in the night. There's a rivalry there with Port Vale, and it's just gone whoop. so bye.
And Carlisle as well, because obviously Paul Mullen played for Carlisle.
He played for a lot of teams, to be real. He played for Oxford United, who we play next year, which will be tasty, assuming Oxford United don't go up in the
Cambridge. Where did you got?
Oh, sorry, I always mix them up. Cambridge, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
So Cambridge
always mix them up. They're both unis.
But that said, Cheltenham, Fleetwood, Port Vale, Carlisle. Okay, so Cheltenham is pretty big. Carlisle's pretty big. They're both coming down into League Two.
I'm glad we don't have to play them, to be honest.
Going up is Chesterfield into League Two, and one of the playoff final. Who did you say it was against? Solihull
and Bromley.
And Bromley. Now both of those teams are going to go fucking straight back down to the National League. I can tell you now they're not going to last in League Two. We know how they were last season, and they haven't really made big, massive changes to their squad.
But they've knocked out people, so who knows if they can do that? Maybe they can cause a bit of a kerfuffle. But I don't think they're going anywhere near playoffs next year, near that. And if they good on them, if they can stay
table
up
at best.
Yeah, if they can stay up, good on them.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's all about the Wrexham, mate. It's all about the Worldwide Reds. We got on the off season. We got 2 weeks off, but when we come back, we're going to be covering things like the TST, which was something that was meant to be a bit of a laugh and ended up being everyone from Wrexham watching it at 3 a.m. their time. For us, it was actually not so bad. The timing, it's afternoon, and then. Yeah. You've also got the friendlies coming up as well, and then it all just comes around again. So we're very lucky. We've got, the announcements of the games. I think it was against Vancouver. Yeah. There's against Chelsea.
So we know as well, obviously when we come back off our little 2-week hiatus, we're going to have probably a hell of a lot to talk about. I know we will. But we do want to have a big deep dive into League One. And the teams that will be playing, because I know there's still one more round left to play. But as it stands at the moment, Birmingham, Huddersfield, and Rotherham are going down. Very surprised at Birmingham to go down.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, they just beat fucking Coventry. I mean,
but Coventry came off a really hard week because they just played Man U in an absolute fucking hard match.
belter of a match, that one. But
it was.
I mean,
But
those are three big teams coming down into League One.
Rooney fucked Birmingham, to be honest. Rooney went there.
Yeah.
They were like something like, I think they were like in 6th or 4th or something when he joined on, and then he took them down and then got fired. So it's almost like Rooney just went in, fucked them up, and then just left.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to be a big team coming down if they come down. I mean, there's still 1 point between them and Plymouth with one game to go, but and Plymouth have lost the last two. So it could be very well Plymouth, Huddersfield, and Rotherham. I'm hoping so because Birmingham are a big bloody side.
Well, they're a big club. I mean, yes, there's a part of me that wants big games because big games equal, hardening up the team for the leagues to come.
Yeah.
But also part of me wants easy beats. So
yeah, well, I mean, Birmingham are playing Norwich, right? So Norwich are currently 5th in the championship. So in the final game of the championship season, Birmingham will face off against Norwich.
They'll get fucked on.
But also Plymouth, who are only 1 point, are playing Hull City, right? And Hull City are 7th in the championship. So good luck picking that one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fucking interesting. So I think if it as it stands, if both of those teams lose, so if Plymouth and Birmingham both lose, then you'll be seeing Birmingham, Huddersfield, and Rotherham relegated. Now, interestingly enough, I do want to talk about one team coming down to League One, and that's Rotherham. Rotherham have only managed to scrape out 24 points. 24 points in a season. Ouch. That's 4 wins.
It's almost like Sheffield United.
4 wins, 12 draws, and 29 losses. Ouch. 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 If they're coming down in that form, they're going to get fucked in League One big time. if they don't get a handle on that and they don't get that shit under control, they are fucked when they come down to League One, because League One next year is going to be so fucking competitive.
Yeah,
we've seen it this year in League Two, the Wrexham effect, right? We've seen it. It's going to be so fucking competitive.
Yep. No, I agree, bro. And I think when we cover it after the break, we're going to go into those teams that have been solidified and really try and kind of emphasize the competitive nature of it. Because when we got into League Two, we said, look, the top half competitive, bottom half not so competitive. League One, the entire fucking league is competitive, and I would argue it's one of, if not the scariest kind of league to participate in, because you could easily, be going up one season and then, miss out by playoffs, and then all of a sudden you're back down the next season back to League Two. So it's a very hard league to be in, but I fully think that we will stay up. I just don't know how far we will go, but we will see after the 2-week hiatus.
Yeah, we will definitely break down the league by then, and we'll have a very, very big discussion about it. But as it stands right now, League Two was really tough this year, and League One is going to be even worse. So good luck to everyone. It's going to be fucking fun. But I think we'll do all right. But so any last minute or before we end this podcast for 2 weeks, any last words, any memories from this season that stand out for you?
Oh, fuck you, League Two.
My memory is fucking Mansfield celebrating promotion with an open top bus parade to like fucking 100 people. What the fuck is that shit? Like, seriously.
Let them celebrate, I think. But yeah, you're right. Not a great turnout. I think they assumed it'd be a little bit more. They saw the vision of Stockport with their open bus. They saw us last year with ours, and they were like, let's do it. Let's bloody do it. And it did not turn out. So that's definitely a memory. My favorite memory as well is McLean after a game. I think it might have been, I can't remember who that was against. Was that against Crewe? was whatever game it was, and McLean basically fought someone over the fence. They were like egging him on, like, come on. And then McLean's like, come on the pitch. And the guy, there was a door there, remember? There was a door and he could easily have gone through the door, but he tried to act like he was trying to climb it to like slow himself down because he was too scared to face McLean. So that's just another peak League Two moment for me. Andy Cannon's red for 6 minutes on the park was definitely fucking peak League Two for me as well.
It's been such a fucked league, man. But I think we all knew this. I mean, Wrexham are coming up into this league, and it was going to be tight, and it's been tight for much of the season. And the fact that that your first place team, Stockport, finished on 92, and Forest Green obviously being relegated on 42, but between first and 10th, there's fuck all in it. It could have gone either way. And at one stage, it was like first down to 17th or whatnot. Fucking crazy league. And I've never seen anything like it. And I couldn't be happier to fucking put this league behind us.
I think the best part about this chapter, mate, is we end this podcast. We end the chapter on League Two. So let's do it.
Geez, you hint much? You just want me to shut up and close
just wrap the fucking thing. No, I'm joking. It's been great, mate, and I've loved having you by.
We've got to get all our podcast juices out because we're going to be 2 weeks without a podcast. So you got to get the juices out. We've got to get the release out right now, and then we've got to wipe our dick on the curtains. If you've seen Fallout, you would understand what that joke is. I
want to hit leave on this so badly. But look, man, I think it's been an absolute pleasure, mate, being beside you this season. And I look forward to the next one. It's been an absolute fucking hoot and a half. And I look forward to the next one, bro. I really do.
Yeah, I think so. And I thank you for joining me every week on this podcast, and I'm running Two Beards as well and running the socials. You do a really good job of it, and honorary mention to you, Adrian. You do a hell of a lot of work for us. So, and to you, our listeners, thank you for joining us this season. It really means a lot. Listeners, viewers, fuckheads, it really means a lot. And we can only hope that next season is just as big, if not bigger, and we have a bit of fun with it. So be sure to join us in a couple of weeks' time. We'll have, only the off season, we'll have plenty of guests. We've got our 50th episode coming up as well. So we're going to have plenty of guests for that. That'll be a stacked episode.
2 away.
Yep, 2 more away from this. And but yeah, we can't thank you enough for joining us and supporting us and listening to us. Means a lot. Really does. And we're going to continue this for as long as we possibly can. Hopefully right until Wrexham are in the Premier League and maybe becoming one of the big six. We'll see. But guys,
the big six.
That's it from us. Rousey, Adrian, Two Beards Wrexham podcast. For one last time for the 23-24 season. Beard brethren, Sheilas, fuckheads, and all-round legends. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. Good night.
Just 2 weeks.
With that, the 2023 season comes to an end. Good night.
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen to was when I